Year 8, how are you and how's everybody doing? Welcome to today's spelling sheet 4. Now let's get to it. The first word is civilian. Civilian is a person not in the armed forces or in the police force, so they're not in the military or the police. So what can you say? The undercover agent dressed in civilian clothes, like normal people basically. Civilian is a normal person. Number 2, deduction. It is a process of reaching a decision or answer by thinking about known facts or the decision this reached. So you can say, through the process of deduction, the detectives discovered the identity of the killer. Then we have the word discernment, which is basically wisdom or the ability to judge people and things well. Some people, older people, are people of discernment, right? Because they're more wise, they can judge things in a better way. Then we have discoveries. We know what that is, to discover something, to uncover something, right? Then we have forensics, which is the scientific method of solving crimes that involves examining objects or things related to a crime. We see it all the time on NCIS and CSI and all of the police and detective movies. So you can say the forensic team analyzes samples taken from the scene, which led to the identification of the killer. Then we have the word gangster. Gangster and mobster, they're synonymous. So a gangster is a member of an organized group of violent criminals. Okay, so you can say the rate of gangster crime is increasing, or the mobsters were jailed for life for the crimes they committed, like that, you know. Then we have implication, which is the action or state of being involved in something, to be involved in something. Okay. Then we have informant. An informant is someone who gives information to another person or organization, like the police, for example. One of the witnesses, so you can say one of the witnesses was a paid informant for the FBI. Okay, so an informant, from its name, it's pretty obvious, it's pretty clear. Someone who gives information to another person. Then we have investigation, the process of examining a problem, statement, crime, etc. to discover the truth. So you can say there will be a full investigation to work out the cause of the accident. Then we have an investigator, which is a person who carries an investigation. Then we have informer. We had informant, now we have informer, which is a person who gives information in secret, especially to the police. That's the main difference between an informant and informer. An informer is usually in secret. Most police informers receive rewards for their information. That could be an example. Most police informers receive a reward for their information. And we have the mafia. We also see a lot of it, like if any of you have watched The Godfather, the movie, they're a mafia, right? The mafia, like the organization was originally made, or it was initially began in Italy, Sicily, Italy. But in general, it's a group of people involved in similar activities and help protect each other, sometimes to the disadvantage of others. Al Capone was a famous leader. He was a famous mafia leader. He's very well known. Then we have a mobster again, right? We had mobster, which is, like we said, synonymous to gangster. Then we have mole, which is a spy. You can say a mole inside the department leaked information to the competing company. Okay? Then we have observations, the act of observing someone or something, which is watching or watching closely. So you can say the police kept the suspect under observation. Then you have a scout, which is a person, especially a soldier, that is sent out to get information about where the enemy is and what they're doing. So you can say, I had a quick scout around the neighborhood to check everything was okay. That means the person went in advance to check to see what's going on, to make sure everything was okay. And a person who scouts is a scout. Okay, then we have shadowing, to follow and observe quietly. Okay, now, so you can say the detective was shadowing the suspect to see where he went and who he met. But shadowing is not always in criminal context. It can be used in work. Like if you're new at a job and you shadow another person, it means you're watching them closely and quietly to see how they're doing the job so you can do it after them. Okay, so sleuth, a sleuth, it's not sleoth or anything like that. It's sleuth. It's a detective. So you can say top sleuth have been hired to investigate the crime. And we have surveillance cameras. They're everywhere, right? It is the careful watching of a person or a place, especially by the police or the army. Many banks, for example, have surveillance cameras, right? It's especially the police or the army, but it can be anybody, right? For the sake of safety. Now, the next word is suspicion, which is a belief or idea that something may be true. Okay, you could say I had a nagging suspicion that I sent the letter to the wrong address. To believe that something is true, I think I sent the letter to the wrong person. Then you have testimony, testify. So a testimony is a spoken or written statement that something is true, especially in a court of law. Okay, you can say your excellent results are a testimony of your hard work. You can say the judge heard the witness's testimony, right? Then we have tailing. To tail someone is to follow them, like you're in their tail. So you can say after several weeks of tailing, the private detective realized that the man was innocent. Then we have villainy. Villainy is wickedness or being evil. Her evil acts were proof of her villainy. Then we have wiretap is to secretly listen to people by connecting listening devices to their phone. So you can say somebody's phone is tapped or wiretapped illegally. For example, you can say the politician's phone was illegally wiretapped. And last but not least, we have the word witness, which is a person who witnesses something or sees it. It can be a crime or it can be anything. It doesn't necessarily have to be a crime. Okay, so that's it for spelling list 4. Then we have fill in the gaps as usual and the grammar review. All right, that's it for today. I just want to point out that number 16 is a typo. It's taken from another spelling list, so we've already done it before, so you don't need to do it again. That is it for spelling list 4. Thank you very much, Year 8. If Year 8, if anybody has a question, I'm right here.